if I use AI, am I selling my soul? So can you be a spiritual woman and utilize AI? I want to speak to this from a point of reverence, not from a point of defense and not from a point of hype. As we move through this conversation, I'm going to invite you to feel what your reaction is inside. I've been having conversations with women inside of the Elegant Femme community about this and really sharing my experience. I had a client ask me, Tara, are you utilizing AI for your emails and for some other things like your stories, your posts, like things have been getting deeper and I've been noticing you're putting out so much content. Have you been utilizing AI? I answered to her with so much clarity and so much confidence and just faith inside of myself, like, yes, absolutely. And here's why. So I want to speak to, first and foremost, that fear inside of, if I utilize AI, am I like giving away my humanity? It's a really interesting feeling inside. I was talking to my husband right before we came on, and he's like, there's this like two sides of this, like utilizing AI as an opportunity for expansion and depth and consciousness versus this fear of, if I utilize AI, is it going to have power over me? Is it going to be like a Terminator-like story, an end to this, that AI all of a sudden has so much power that we lose ourselves in it? So let's talk about this from a really open, expansive, tender place inside. There's an unspoken fear taking place inside of conscious women right now. The question that, if I use AI, am I cheating? Am I somehow going to lose my authenticity? Am I somehow going to lose my humanity? Is it going to make me less me? Is it going to make my message less me? And I really want to speak to this fear that, will I lose my originality? Will I lose my soul in some way if I utilize AI? Is this an escape from intimacy, or is it an invitation into deeper intimacy? That shame that so many women feel, that if I utilize something that supports me, am I cutting corners? If I allow support inside, if I allow myself to be provided for, does that somehow make my results less impactful? This old attachment that so many of us have, that we have to struggle. So I really want to speak to this because this is something that I move through as well in utilizing AI in my own business and in my personal life. This fear inside of, oh my gosh, is it going to be too easy? Here's what I have found in utilizing AI as a support tool. I want to speak to my own experience about this, and I really do want to speak to that kind of unanswered question of, what does this mean? Where is this going? I feel like this is really, really important. What I have learned about utilizing AI, first of all, moving through any kind of shame or guilt of, oh my God, am I cheating? Like this fear that we have that if we allow ourselves to be provided for, that somehow, some way, it makes it less impactful. I want you to think about the first time that you started to utilize Google Maps. Do you remember? And now, like, just, can you imagine getting to the airport without Google Maps or without your phone? Now, this is an interesting thing, because that fear inside of like, oh my God, I don't even know how to get to this place anymore. I'm reliant on, and that's where it comes from, right? The fear of like, will I be reliant on this? Like that fear of creating a codependency and losing parts of ourselves. I want you to consider something differently. Consider the free time, energy, space, mental capacity you have utilizing, for example, Google Maps instead of, do you remember the days when we used to get out? Some of you may remember, some of you might not. You used to get out the map. My dad used to print out a map, get a map for me. He printed later. Get a map and highlight the route for me on the map. And literally I would need to pull over and look at the map and so the time and energy spent in getting somewhere, needing to pull over, the mental capacity, the fear of like, oh my God, am I going to get there? The anxiety, the stress of getting somewhere versus what it is now. This is how I feel about AI. The mental capacity that it took in the past to write an email or to download something, if you're aware of this level of consciousness inside of you, the quickness, the speed of light with which you process things. So when I'm downloading something inside of me, when I have a new level, when I have an awareness, when I have something that I want to share with my audience, and it comes through me and I'm able to download that energy, that focus with sensory detail, put it into AI and ask specifically, this is what I want, this is how I want it, this is why I want it. We've poured so much energy and time and focus into AI with a lot of vulnerability in a private space, in a private portal, so that it reflects the level of consciousness that I feel inside. To me, it isn't just a plug and play. It isn't just a marketing tool. It's an opportunity for an expansion of consciousness. That depends on what you put in it. what you pour into it, just like any relationship. The vulnerability, the intimacy, the time, the willingness also that if you get something back from AI, that you don't just take it. AI is a mirror, not a master. It's not about giving away our consciousness and just saying, fix it for me, do it for me. In my experience and in my feeling, it is a co-creation tool when utilized in a very specific way to deepen, to expand. It's not a handover. It's not just do this for me, I'm going to remove myself. Now, can people utilize it that way? Are some people utilizing it that way? Absolutely, I'm sure they are. But again, just like any relationship, you will get in what you put out. So for me, and the way that I'm utilizing it in my business and in my personal life, it's very, very specific. I know that what we pour in is what we're going to get out. And I don't just take something for face value. When we get an email back, or if I put something in AI, or my teams put something in AI, and we say, we want this, we're infusing Haute Couture Spirituality, we're infusing the femme types, we're infusing this level of language, and we're very, very specific. And if we get it back and something just doesn't resonate, we don't just take it for face value and be like, oh, well, it's AI. AI must be better than us, so we're just going to use it. No. Just like you wouldn't if you're utilizing Google Maps, and this has happened to every single one of us, where it says turn right and there's no driveway. Or turn left at the next roundabout and there's no, you don't just do it blindly. So it's not about giving away your consciousness. It's about utilizing it as a tool, in my experience, for greater access, for greater expansion, for greater depth, and you staying the master. Not giving AI that level. It's not about giving AI mastery. It's about utilizing it as a mirror. So this is something that I really invite you to feel into and to think about, again, in any capacity. Whether you're choosing to utilize AI for your business or you're choosing to utilize AI for something personal, a deepening, reflection, an expansion in your meditation, in your next level, or you're researching where you're going to go next, or what nightclub or what restaurant. AI doesn't know, like, it doesn't have all the facts, right? Not just taking it at face value. We've looked at AI and realized that restaurant's closed. Allowing yourself to stay conscious while you're utilizing AI, not handing your consciousness over, not handing your humanity over, and really looking at what are the fears that are coming up inside of you as you consider this. I am not saying in any way that you have to use AI at all. It's a choice, like any tool, like any level of support. What I do want to speak to are a few things. The shame that women especially feel when they ask for support, when they allow themselves to be provided for, the guilt that can come up, especially inside of this conversation. Am I cheating? Is it no longer me? And that fear of, is this in conflict with spirituality? Is this in conflict with consciousness? That fear of, am I giving a piece of myself away? Or can I utilize this for deeper growth and expansion? And like anything in life, I really do believe what we pour in, where we are inside of our own frequency, our own consciousness, is going to be what we receive. Some of the things I've moved through in my own journey around this, I spoke already about the shame, about the guilt, about the fear of cheating. Another thing inside of like the proprietary information that we're pouring into AI. You know, are we going to be copied? Are we going to be replaced? Are we going to be taken over? I've seen a lot of conversations around people saying I'm being replaced by AI. Here's how I feel about this. I believe that we can never be replaced. We are irreplaceable. We are irreplaceable. Our consciousness, our value, our connection to God, who we are in this world, we are irreplaceable. That being said, do we have the willingness to allow certain things to be taken care of by something else? Like if I was to keep myself attached to every single aspect of my business and my life, feeling like I needed to do it all, that doesn't free up the time, the energy, and the space for me to move into new levels. So as I was referencing earlier in an example, if I'm able to pour into AI an intention about an email, an experience I had, sensory details that I pour in about the colors that things were, the experience I had, what I was feeling, and AI is able to generate an email, and I'm already on to the next level of consciousness. That email now has been downloaded. I have a transmission that I can share with women around the world saying, this is what I was able to capture. feel into this. Here's some journal prompts. Here's some inspiration. Here's what moved through me, and put it in a story-like sequence or a poetic sequence, or asking AI for the depth of a strategy or an opening or a poem. And that's done. It's there. Now it's out in the world. And I'm on to the next thing already. I'm on to the next level of expansion, the next level of consciousness. I'm able to utilize AI as a tool in that way to support a deeper level of expansion for myself. So these are just some things to consider, because I don't see AI being talked about in this way. Utilizing it as an increase in spiritual consciousness. Again, I am not saying you have to utilize AI in any way. None of us have to do anything. But if you're called, these are some things to consider. If you're afraid, these are some things to consider. And this is really an open-ended conversation. Like, none of us know where this is leading. And for me, just like everything in my life, I will always keep myself open to making a change. Like at any point, I feel like this is no longer aligned, or that I need to change something, or I need to take a detour, or this isn't feeling congruent, I will change. So this isn't a point blank, like black and white conversation of this is right and this is wrong. It's like anything I talk about inside of Elegant Femme. Move into something that's calling you. Keep your conscious awareness there. See what you might be afraid of. Is there any shame? Is there any guilt? Is there any withholding? Is there any fear of being replaced? And how can you utilize it, if you desire to, in a way that supports your next level of consciousness, that supports a level of intimacy, not of control. These are really, really important conversations that I feel as spiritual women, we get the opportunity to address and consider. So as we close this really thought-provoking conversation around AI and spirituality, can you be spiritual and use AI? If you use AI, are you selling your soul? I want to leave you with a couple journaling prompts that I feel will support you in deepening this conversation inside of yourself. Are you ready? Journal number 1. Where have I equated struggle with worth? And how is that affecting the way I create? Where have I equated struggle with worth, and how is that affecting the way I create? This is a powerful and profound question. Number 2, what would become available in my life if I allowed support without shame? What would become available in my life if I allowed support without shame? And the final question that I want to invite you to spend some time with: in what ways can I utilize AI to amplify, not replace, the truth of my soul? Again, in what ways can I utilize AI to amplify, not replace, the truth of my soul? And I want to leave you with this, really feeling into this for yourself, because it isn't a right or wrong answer. I do understand the fears and the concerns. You know, we've seen movies like The Terminator. We've seen movies like Wall-E World, where people are just sitting there basically unconscious, drinking soda and watching something on their screens, where they've completely removed themselves from their own humanity and their own consciousness. So I'm not saying this isn't something that we need to be aware of. I really do feel being aware is really important. But what I also feel is to not be afraid. Like, if we're afraid of something, what is that about? To not feel shame about it, to not feel guilt about it, to look at that feeling inside, especially as women, like, am I cheating? Is this too easy if I allow myself to be provided for in this way? These are really core conversations that are so congruent inside of Elegant Femme and Haute Couture Spirituality. This integration of the physical and the spiritual that Elegant Femme has been talking about since the beginning. Utilizing AI as an amplification tool, not a replacement for your soul. Opening to the capacity to create with more softness, more elegance, and more power. The reminder that we must remain the creators. We must remain the creators. AI does not decide, it supports. AI does not decide, it supports. The intimacy of choosing what we feed AI, our frequency matters. So it's not stepping back and not contributing at all or giving away our consciousness. It really is being super aware and having the ability to respond to AI. What are we pouring into it? When used with devotion, AI doesn't diminish your spirituality. It holds the space for more of it. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think, how you feel about this conversation, what it's bringing up inside of you. And I do really feel like this is just the beginning of this conversation. So if there's anything specific that you want to deepen, please share it with me in the comments below. I feel like this is such a potent conversation for us to be having, and I'm so grateful to be in this space and time in the world where we're able to deepen in this way and see what's possible. So with that, this is Tara Marino with Elegant Femme, and really answering the question inside, does AI steal your soul or support your truth?